You're watching ASOTUCon 2024, presented in collaboration with Reynolds and Reynolds and Gubagoo.
Well, guys, thank you very much. Some familiar faces. I want to thank every single one of you guys that are here. I want to applaud you for supporting Paul, Kyle. I still can't believe that they allowed me to be on this stage, which is awesome, considering that about 4 years ago, we were working out of a basement, right? And now we have a huge team that is working with us. So I want to applaud you guys for being here, all 15 of you guys. 20 maybe, 25 maybe. All right. Come on in. All right. So, all right. So we're going to be talking about the Hispanic auto market and how they choose people over convenience. And so let's talk about a little bit about data. And there you go. So Forbes came out with this article saying that the U.S. has the second largest population of Spanish speakers in the world, first being Mexico. So it's a big deal, right? The Hispanic market. Anyways, next one. Did you know that it's 63.7 million people, 19.1% of the total population? Now, next. Wait a minute. And by the way, who in here is going to be in business in 25 years? In 25 years, 2050, 1 out of every 3 people are going to speak Spanish. There you go. So as I went digging into this rabbit hole of data, I found this U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And what they were talking about was actually really interesting. And it talks about that the workforce from 2014 to 2023 grew from 16.3 to 19.1. That means that we have a lot of buying power and a lot of cash that could be spent, buying a car from you. All right, come on in. Come on in. We're open. All right. All right, now also, the majority of them being Mexicans, which is cool. I'm Mexican, by the way. And anyways, I went digging for more data because I thought it was curious of the buy here, pay here market in comparison to franchise dealers, right? So what I found is this Trade Commission of the United States, and they were talking about, while specific data of buy here, pay here in comparison to franchise is not necessarily clear, the report emphasizes that Hispanics make up 24% of total car sales, which is crazy, right? Anyways, next one. What about the community presence? So, okay, what I did find in this article is the community presence and how buy here, pay here essentially approach the market that franchise dealers don't. They make themselves approachable. They make themselves not necessarily this big conglomerate dealer. Rather, they focus on relationships and being, I'm talking about the buy here, pay here businesses, right? And so I found that neat because that's what we started doing with John Duran and the Bieber brand. We started advertising to be more approachable, right? And anyways, next. So let's talk about what the Hispanic market, what are the new and existing Hispanic immigrant essentials right now? Do they need to get a job? I mean, technically, if they're here, they got to work, right? Now, what about, do they need to get a license? I mean, that's debatable, I guess. Not all Hispanics have a license. Now, what about do they got to buy a house? Not necessarily. I think they make up a lot of the renters economy, so they don't necessarily got to buy a house. But what about, do they need to get a social? No. I mean, they could, but a lot of Hispanics can't get a social, right? They got social media, but anyways, do they need to get a car? More often than not, a lot of them need a car. In this country, you need a car, unless you're like in New York, and you live there or something like that. All Hispanics essentially are going to need a car. Now, next, this is the visual representation of a lot of dealers. They kind of just ignore the Hispanic market altogether. They know it's there. I mean, I got here when I was in 99, and the Hispanic market was part of the conversation, but yet is still not part of the conversation. Well, I guess it is right now. Now, the one on the right is a visual representation of a salesperson that greets a Hispanic that doesn't have a license, but yet doesn't want to approach the sales manager because he's like, the management doesn't know how to handle the Hispanic market, right? Oh, some dealers do. Anyways, next. This is how Bieber greets the Hispanic market. Now, mind you, that the advertising is not necessarily, advertising is part, Bieber has created a chemistry to welcome the Hispanic market and be profitable, help the community. Never, let's keep going. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the AAA system, right? And it's a methodology. It's not the solution of all. It's not the A game for the solution. It's part of it. But I think it's important for you guys to get to know a little bit about my story and how I ended up here. And now, my story started it was being written when I was 5 years old. And it's actually started from Scripture. The Lord told Abraham, leave the land where you're from and go to the country that I will guide you. I will make of you a great country, and all of the towns in the world will be blessed. That is the scripture that my mother heard when my father decided to just kind of dip out, right, when I was 5 years old. At 7 years old, my mom left her only 2 kids in Mexico by themselves. And that's the last birthday that I saw my mom in Mexico. And at age 8, my brother left. So I was technically by myself in a country. I had angels that took care of me, teachers, grandparents, friends that I stayed in. Between 8 and 11, I started working at 9 years old in an 18-wheeler shop. I was kind of small. I was still a little chubby, but I was able to get into to check pressure in the tires. And that's what I did. And at age 11, I came to the United States. My mom sent money so I could cross the border, technically. At age 11, I crossed the border with no family members, with a group of 50 folks. They give you a frozen gallon of water so that you don't drink it all in the middle. You just kind of sip on it, and then you don't die of thirst, right? Later on, I found out that where I crossed is actually the deadliest crossing, right? Crazy. Anyways, here's me at when I arrived here in the United States in 99. I started working again at age 13 in a restaurant. And at 24, I got introduced to the automotive market. I was actually working in a buy here, pay here. And that guy right there, that was literally me. That's who I became in that space. I was introduced to fixed interest rates. I was introduced to move cars at all cost. Whether they're good cars, bad cars, you got to move them. Superiority complex. Anybody been in a space where they felt better than somebody else? That was me, because I was going to make money for the salesperson, close their deal, and they were going to make more money than me. I was becoming somebody else that God was not. Thank God he let me know that what I was becoming. And I got disconnected from empathy, quite frankly. And towards the end of my career, I didn't know it was the end of my career in the automotive space as a salesperson then, but at age 28, I decided that I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going to go meet my father. So I bought a ticket. I went to see him, and that was December 28th, and it crushed my life. It made me realize I have never seen this guy, yet he walks just like me, yet he acts just like me, right? And it crushed my whole life so much that 4 months later, I was like, I'm out. And then now, I started my venture in marketing. I was essentially a one-man show playing, and everybody was running away from me. At 2018, I met my business partner in the back, and we started playing together, and people were still running away from us. But at least it was 2. At least I had support. And now, at in 2020, in the middle of COVID, I met this other crazy guy called John Duran. Where you at? John Duran, I met him, and we started playing around with stuff that was new to us, and it started working. This was AutoNation when he was there. And then, shockingly, in June, he fired us. How dare you, man? Okay, and This was me back then. Seriously? That was me right there. I was crushed. My wife took that picture. And my dog apparently knew that everything was going to be okay. He held my foot. And, okay, now, this was in the middle of COVID, and I couldn't afford rent. And after buying a ticket to go see my father, I decided to, you know what, I'm going to buy another ticket. And then he tells me, cancel it. I don't want to see you. He didn't really say, I don't want to see you. He just told me, cancel it. And now, here's John Duran, where we finally found something that was working. How dare my father tell me to cancel the ticket? How dare John Duran fire us when we finally found something that was working? Hey, Glenn. Okay. And then I didn't know that he was actually cooking something. In November, I received a text message from John in WhatsApp. He says, I want to share with you a new project. I'm in Beaver, Toyota now. That was in the morning. That night, we went and produced the video for him the very same day. And then we met Patrick. And everything changed. Everything. Beaver changed our life. And how they say that life must be lived forward, but can be understood backwards. When I bought the ticket to see my father for the first time after 25 years, we spent 12 hours together, and I told him that I wanted to spend a life in his feet. He took me to a casino, which is what he likes to do. What are the odds that it was this casino? 2 days ago, I called him. I told him, Dad, I'm going to be presenting in front of 25 people. I didn't know it was 25, but I told him, and he said, I can't go. I got to mow the lawn. Right? Parents are weird. All right. Nevertheless, everybody's got ghosts. I just ask the Lord that when I get old, I don't have so much baggage as my father does. Anyways, moving on to the next step. So now, what did we learn from working with Beaver in the Hispanic market? We learned that Hispanic market chooses people over convenience. There's folks driving 6 hours to go buy a car from this guy, 8 hours to buy a car from him. Why? Because they believe that they can be helped, right? Now, what else did we learn? We learned that it's a lot of work. It's a ton of work. It's such a big opportunity, and it's such a low-hanging fruit. Why isn't everybody else doing it? I'll tell you why. Because it's a low-hanging fruit, but it's an ugly fruit. That's a cactus fruit. Hispanics eat it. They peel it and they eat it. Tunas, you know that. He knows it. So, who else eats it? Well, cows eat it. I'm not saying that dealers are cows, but if they're able to digest the Hispanic market, build a relationship with the Hispanic market, a dealer can become a cash cow. Make a ton of money. Make the difference between not selling enough and selling more, right? Okay, now, the AAA system. This is a methodology, okay? It's a methodology of advertising that anybody can plug in and start playing around with it to see if your dealer's ready or not. Part of the solution is a AAA system. It also involves infrastructure within the dealer, right? And then obviously inventory. But if you got inventory, you can play around with the audio with the AAA system. And then if you got the right chemistry, then it will work. Now, next, audio visuals. We're making direct response videos, not branding. Direct response videos instead of brand. I'll tell you what branding is. Come to Crazy Eddie Fords. We got over 300 cars, and we can help anybody. Come see us, crazyeddie.com. That's branding. Direct response would be like, hey, this is Crazy Eddie Ford of somewhere. We got over 300 cars, and in less than 30 seconds, I can get you a pre-approval started. So what are you waiting for? We can finance anybody. Click this button right now. 15, 20 seconds of video, direct response, inviting people to click on it. Here's the definition of it in case somebody wants to Google it. And then, so you create a direct response, the most beautiful, there you go, Christian. You make the most beautiful direct response video. You hire some folks that do really good cinematic video, and then you make it really ugly, okay? So you add graphics to it. It's like, what am I walking? Well, it's such a beautiful, creative video, and then there's all these graphics around it to catch people's attention, right? That's what we want to do. Direct response video to inviting somebody to become a lead. Now, we grab this video, and then we put it into an ad that has testimonials with catchy phrases like, I got there in a taxi, and I left in a car. Honey, call the taxi. Right? So something like that. It's an on Facebook forum. Everybody's familiar with them. Now, what do we do with that? Second, audience. Second A. You can slap people with the ad using Facebook audiences, or you can use something called DeepSync Labs. DeepSync.com. I will probably write it down if you're not familiar with it. What DeepSync is, it's a marketplace of audiences. And what that is, essentially, if you Google it, it'll give you essentially, it's a software that agencies use to resell those audiences to dealers and then charge them for it, right? And then what that means is that you get access to Oracle, Axiom, Windfall, Bombora, Distillery, a bunch of audiences that you can then use to target to people. You can use to target people on Facebook that are in market for a vehicle, right? So, anyways, next. So third is appointments. What the appointments mean is that usually this is what happens with dealers that make ads. They create an on Facebook form, they get name, phone number, and email, and on the thank you page, they're like, thanks, we'll call you back. And then consumer leave faster than this rally card back into watching kitty videos or whatever people watch on social media. And then, so what I'm telling you guys is that instead of a thank you page telling them goodbye, and the thank you page would tell them, book your appointment now and save money. So we're inviting them to go to the next step in the relationship, right? And then what that means is that after they click on that, they can either go to Calendly or they can go to a software called Go High Level. We love it. Glenn Lund is familiar with Go High Level. It's an amazing software that can, once an appointment is booked, the High Level can we can create an API to send the data back to your CRM, unless you got DriveCentric. If you got DriveCentric, then you got to do something what we call this a MAPI, which is manual API, right? Which an agent receives the appointment, they manually grab the information, and then they input it into DriveCentric, okay? So how does that look like? Okay, what that looks like is essentially what you see on the right is a landing page of Go High Level. And what do we got there? When they click on it, they see a booking widget, they see testimonials, they see your Google reviews, they see the location of the dealership, and they got a messenger button right there that you can then connect with Car Now in case they got questions, right? And then what else can you do with it? So you're essentially using a funnel methodology with your ads, inviting them to become a lead, inviting them to book an appointment, inviting them, and then after they became a lead and they booked an appointment, you can even ask them to fill out a credit application on this landing page. You grab the code of your website with your Route 1 application, and you input it into this. So essentially, you're guiding them, right? Some folks might not be ready to put a credit application. Some folks might already be engaged with your brand to fulfill it, right? And now, the AAA system is simple. Audio visuals, direct response audio visuals, ads, and appointments. All within the same flow of the ad, right? We make it easy for folks to book their appointment, and if they're ready, put in a credit application. Now, will the AAA system work for me? Probably not, unless you got the right chemistry in your store, okay? It's like John Durant. I was talking with John Durant earlier, and he did a great analogy. It's like having $1,000 of groceries in your fridge, and you don't know how to cook, right? And okay, now that's not 40 leads. That's actually 840 leads. Okay, for some reason in the presentation it got cut off. Oh, yeah, you see it. Okay, there it is. Now, those are would this be a problem? 840 leads, and all of those are appointments? Would that be a problem for a dealership that's not ready? Right? And that's in 1 month. It would essentially be that. Right? 1 month after 1 month, and it takes 90 days for somebody to buy a car, right? You're swamped if the dealer's not ready. If the client, you know what I mean. Anyways, now, What can I do to create the right chemistry, culture, and infrastructure in my store? John?
Okay, I'm just here to give my testimony about how this system works. They're just gonna pay me for it. They're just gonna pay me a little bit less just because of my broken English, but that's okay. I will take the money. I've been working with Beaver Toyota for the last four years. I've been in business. Next year is gonna be my 20 years in business, and I decided to focus my effort on serving the Latino community. We're located in Georgia. I work for Beaver Toyota, which is one of the most beautiful dealerships around the planet. You have to stop by and see it. But the problem with a beautiful dealership like that is sometimes people, Latinos, get like, that's too much. They're probably not gonna welcome me. I don't even wanna go there. But everybody keep talking about customer experience. Everybody keep talking about intentionality. Everybody keep talking about retentions. And Latino is one of the best opportunity to do business. Reason why I say so is just because we are the second largest minority in the country. Number one. Number two, we're having babies. Not just one or two, 3 or 4 babies. So it means that we're growing, right? And we want to buy cars. 80% of the Latino family will speak Spanish at home. 80%. So if I go to the store and I got someone who's gonna speak my language, I'm gonna feel like at home. Referral, repeat and referral. They're not gonna say, hey, go to Toyota. They're just got someone who speaks Spanish right there. They're gonna help you sell a car. No, they said, go and see my friend, mi amigo, John Duran at Beaver Toyota. Right, so the whole intentionality behind this is Beaver Toyota. I came to Beaver Toyota 4 years ago. I talked to Patrick, spent some time just trying to show him my dream. I said, Patrick, I got a dream. This is the dream that I got. I don't want to see my Latinos going to a trailer, a buy here, pay here, buying a piece of car, paying a lot of money, and not building credit. We want to build credit with social, with tax ID. We want to build credit. We want to buy a car. We want to buy a house. That's what we want. So Patrick understood the whole process. When I started working there was like 3 Latinos, well, two and a half, 2 Latinos who speak English, and one who got a Latino last name but got no idea how to speak any Spanish at all. So that was funny. Now, out of the 250 employees that we got at Beaver Toyota, 50% of the store is bilingual. 50%. So we serve the community, not just selling cars, selling, financing, and servicing the vehicle at the store. That's intentionality. So we got the accommodation for the whole community to go. And it's not just selling the car. We are part of the community. We go and volunteer to do work for people who need not just the money, but needs the people to be part of it. And that's what we do with Beaver Toyota. Repeat and referrals, of course. If you treat me right, I'm going back to you. And if you treat me right, I'm just gonna bring my primo, my tia, the cousin, the whole family. Even if I have to co-sign for all of them, but I will go. So going back to intentionality is having the whole setup ready for the community, to welcome the community. And it means financing processes. We have to look for opportunities to be financing vehicle with tax IDs. Just like Luis says, we got advertising people, hopefully it's not gonna be any of you guys, but I got people coming from Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Florida, to Georgia, to buy a car with someone who speaks the same language and is willing to help them to do not just the financing, but tax and title. So again, it's a great opportunity for the dealership. what they're doing is great, but you don't want to have 800 people frustrated because there's no one to help them.
Yes, yes, indeed. And now, John, I got a couple questions. So, what do you think are the biggest challenges for a dealer that is trying to cater to the Hispanic market initially? What do you think is the biggest challenge?
That's a point that I was missing. We are changing people's life. Why? I've been, again, next year is going to be my 20th year in business, but I still remember the guy who said, John, you would do good on car business. And I was like, really? Okay, I will give it a try. I used to work for Office Depot. I was a store manager at the store, and I was like, wow, making all the money. I took 2 months off to go and work for the dealership. And in those 2 months, I made the money that I just made in 8 months working at the retail store. I was like, bye. So changing people's life is that. Not everybody make $150,000 a year. It takes two people to make $70,000 a year. Household, that is the average that Americans are making, $70,000. It's a household, husband and wife working. One person working in the car business in the right place can make double that money. Keeping wife at home with the kids and just working, helping the community. So what I mean by that is we have the opportunity to help people, and the accommodation is that just bring bilingual people who work with you at the dealership to serve the community. We can sell anybody, but if you get someone who speaks the language, that would be even better.
Right. And now, let me ask you another question. So how many times do you think, how long does it take for you to build a relationship with let's say, how long does it take for you to build a relationship with a prospect? Or to be specific, how many times do you follow up on somebody before they buy a car?
Well, it is really easy. The fact that you know there is someone at the other side of the line speaking your own language makes the whole process easy. Because I want to do that. And I just want to give you an idea. Just imagine any of you guys got the opportunity to go to China because you're doing great on your job. And then you have to go and buy a car. And then happens to be a small town, and there's no one at the dealership that speaks English. What would you do? You would buy the car in Chinese, even if you had no idea what you're doing? It's just to give you an idea. It's just
You probably get a taxi. You probably wouldn't buy it, right? And now a Hispanic team is not 2 people, right? It's not. One time I was talking with the dealer. He said, "Yeah, I got a team. It's my manager, my finance manager. He does sales too. I got a team. That's not a team. You need to have people in service, right? People in sales, people in finance, to be able to create that synchronicity, because the people that buy it there, they're probably going to come back and service it there, right? So it'd be good to have somebody in service, right? Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, we got, out of the 40 salespeople that we got now, we got 15 fully bilingual. Out of the 9 finance managers, we got 5 fully bilingual. And in service, of course, we got a whole team servicing the cars in their own language. So it's just being intentional.
Yeah. Now, okay. So let me ask you guys a question. Who wants to dance with the Hispanic market like Bieber does when they greet a Hispanic customer into the door? Who wants to dance like Bieber does? I would like to dance. You would dance? You would? All right. Well, muchachos, reviéntenla, cabrones.